Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to do my complete meal online. I had a serious taste for some southern food, and I mean deep southern food. So today I'm going to show you how to go through the whole meal. If ever you get a taste for some hearty southern cooking, this will be the recipe to use. We're going to be doing today turkey necks and white potatoes with lima beans and okra with ham bits and some cornbread. That's right, complete. I know that's a lot to say, but let's get started with the ingredients that you're going to need. For the lima beans, I have 3 bags here of lima beans. So for the lima beans, we're going to need some cut up okra, a pat of butter, or this is a half a stick of butter, some sugar. This is 2½ tablespoons of sugar. And remember, I tell you, never throw away those ham bones, because those ham bones always come in handy when you're getting ready to make any type of beans or greens. That's the best flavor you can get. Now, if I only had these beans and I put these ham bits in here, that would be enough. I don't put salt in my beans in the beginning stages of cooking, because I have found that salt will split your beans. So I wait until I get finished and then I add the salt. Now, we're going to have turkey necks. This is turkey necks, okay? And white potatoes, cut up white potatoes. And what you're going to need for that, we're going to need some cut up onion, 2 chicken bouillon cubes, some minced garlic, salt and pepper, and I have some cornstarch here, because at the end of that I want to make like a little gravy to it. Now, I noticed that I didn't have any bacon grease, and that's normally what I cook my beans with. I just want to come back and say this. So I'm frying some bacon on the stove along with a little bit of onion, and you'll see that when we get to the stove. So, and the only other thing that I'm going to have is cornbread. May or may not show you how to make the cornbread, but I do have a recipe for 2 types of cornbread online. We mostly use the one with the Jiffy mix in it, because it adds for a sweeter flavor. But I'm gonna go away, get everything prepared up, cut up my potatoes, get my meat washed and in the pot, and I'm going to meet you at the stove. Be right back. Okay, now I'm at the stove, and I already have my water that's simmering, getting ready for my turkey necks. I've washed my turkey necks, and you don't need to get all of the fat off of them, because that's just going to act as more flavor, and that fat is going to literally fall off anyway in the cooking process. So I'm going to put all of my turkey necks over in the pot. Turkey necks take roughly about 2 hours to cook. Okay, so they're going to be boiling for quite a while. But I have all of them in, and I'm going to add to that some potatoes later on down the line. Now, I'm also going to put in about a tablespoon of salt. And you're going to salt to taste. Now, this is in my turkey necks and my white potatoes. It's okay to put that salt in there then, but you don't want to put that salt when you're cooking your beans, because when you're cooking your beans, they will split on you. That's been my experience. I'm adding about a teaspoon of pepper, maybe a little bit more. I chopped up some onions. I'm going to go ahead and add these onions to the pot. I have 2, let me cut the stove off in the background, because in the background I'm cooking that bacon. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. I have 2 chicken bouillon cubes. I'm going to go ahead and smash them up and add them to my pot. Now, you want all the flavor that you can get, but with what you see me putting in here now, that's going to be all the flavor that you're going to need. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Now, I'm going to let this cook for about an hour and a half before I put anything else in this pot, which is going to be the potatoes. And I'm going to add just a thickener to it because I want this to have a little bit of gravy to it. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this pot and let it cook for the next 1.5 hours. Now, in this pot, I want to get a head start on my beans. Those ham bones, I'm telling you, that's all you need. That's going to add the best flavor. But what I do with my ham bones, which I had these for Christmas, and I just went ahead, I'm sorry, for Thanksgiving, and I just went ahead and I cut the meat off the bone, which is, this is the meat that you see here, and the bone over in it. It adds the best flavor to your beans. If that was all you had, then you can just go with that, okay? And that's still going to make some good beans. But I found that adding a little bit of butter to your beans, it just brings out an extraordinary flavor in beans, and I think you're going to love it. This is 2.5 tablespoons of sugar that I'm putting in there, and I didn't have any bacon grease. So what I did was I made my own. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these onions over in here along with this bacon grease. Okay? And that was just 2 pieces of bacon that I cut up, and I just put some onions over on top so it could go ahead and simmer and saute up together. Then I just added them to the beans. Now I'm going to give this about a 30-minute head start before I add the okra and I add my lima beans. Now, when 30 minutes have passed, I'll bring you back. And what I want to do is I want all of those flavors from the bacon, from the onions, from the butter. That's just my oven going off so I can cook my cornbread. The bacon, the onion, the butter, the ham bone. I want all of those flavors to mix together before I put my beans in. Notice I did not add any salt. Put my beans and my okra in at the same time. I'll bring you back. Time to do that. Be right back. Okay, I have a small scoop here, and I'm going to go ahead and make up my cornbread. I use cornmeal mix. The reason why I use cornmeal mix is because it already has the baking powder in it, and it has the salt. Perfect for when you're making cornbread, especially if you don't know how to make cornbread. This would be the perfect way for you to learn, and it's really error-proof if you do it according to the package instructions. So what I've done, because I've been doing this for so long, and normally I don't make the cornbread in my house. My daughter makes the cornbread, but she's at work, so I'm forced to make it today. I take like 4 scoops of this cornmeal mix. I take 1 container of the Jiffy cornbread mix. That's sold in your store for about 40 cents. I think it cost. Then I mix these 2 together. Okay, now that's because I like a little bit of sweet in my cornbread. If you don't like sweet, then I mean, do it the way that you do it. But the way that I do it is really, really good. Now, this is normally, I had my daughter to bring this to me. It should have been a 1/2 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of milk. And this is roughly a 12-ounce container. But with her bringing it to me, it works out a little bit different than that. Okay? So now I'm going to add, I've just added all of that milk and that water. And now I'm going to add to this 2 eggs that I have sitting on the side. Now normally you wouldn't break your eggs, break it on my table because that's a plastic bowl, inside of your container. You can break it in a cup. Why do you break it in a cup? Because you want to make certain that these eggs are not rotten. Okay, now I'm going to mix this well together. And then I'm going to add, I had my skillet already with about 3 tablespoons of oil in it. This is a little bit hot because I just took it out of my oven. You're going to put this into your oven at 375 degrees. And you're going to cook this off for roughly 45 minutes to an hour. Now, I just want to show you what this looks like. Okay. Now it's 375 degrees for roughly 45 minutes to an hour. See how it is? It's more like it would be just like you would be making a smoothie. Has a similar look to a smoothie. Okay? So I'm going to pour this in my skillet. If you don't get all the lumps out, don't worry about it. I mean the lumps from the flour. Don't worry about it. I'm going to pour this in my skillet. I'm going to bake this off in my oven. And I'll be back and show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, now we're back at the stove, and my meat's in this pot. They're boiling up real good. Got my ham bone, all my meats, my bacon, my onion. Now that's going to get ready to bring some good flavor into my lima beans. So I'm going to start to put in my lima beans. Okay, now I have 3 bags of lima beans, but I'm going to have to pour off a little bit of my water in order to get the rest of my beans in here. But I'm not going to throw this water away. I'm going to sit this water on the side, and when my beans boil down, then I'm going to add this liquid back to my pot of beans. Now, also, I'm going to put a half of a bag. This is 16 ounces of okra. You don't have to use okra if you don't like. I like okra. The reason why I'm putting it in the beginning is because it's going to act as a thickening agent for these lima beans, which means it's going to give me a little bit thicker juice coming off of my lima beans. Okay, so even though you didn't see me add the 3 bags, I'm going to go away, add the 3 bags, and allow this to just cook. Add the 3rd bag of beans and allow this to just cook. But I want to take some of these liquids out. Do not, remember, if you're using a pot that's too small like me, and that happens, do not throw the liquids away. Save the liquids because the beans will boil down, and when they boil down, you want to re-add that liquid because that's the liquid with the seasonings in it. So I'll be back midway through the cooking process. Be back. Okay, now I'm back, and I'm getting ready to take the cornbread out of the oven, but I just wanted to show you how the beans are actually cooking. And we got a little bit more time. Well, we really got about another 45 minutes on these beans. But they're cooking up nice, and I want to show you something. See how those beans are coating that spoon? The liquids from it. That's the okra cream. Now, I will tell you this. And look, they're cooking up really, really nice. See? Now, I will tell you this. If you don't like okra and you want to get that same cream on your beans, all you have to do is the last 15 minutes of cooking, you cook them on blast. That means you cook them on high heat. If you cook it on high heat the last 15 minutes of cooking, you're still going to get that same cream that I got. Okay? Now, over here, got a little bit ways to go with the turkey, and I haven't put anything else in it, which I'm going to put the potatoes in a little while. I'll bring you back when I get ready to do that. But they're cooking up fine. And now I just want to take my cornbread out of the oven. Like I told you, I don't normally do cornbread cooking, but of course it came out well. Now immediately when I take my cornbread out, and I normally cook my cornbread like 45 minutes before my meal completes because I like to eat it hot. But I went ahead and did it this time because I just want to show you what it looks like. Now, a modern day cook would say if the cornbread cracks on top, it's because your stove was too hot. Now, that is very much true. That's very true. But us old school cooks, we know that when that cornbread cracks on top, that's the best cornbread that you're going to eat. There's something about that cornbread cracking on top that really, really makes it really, really good. And that's just coming from an old school cook. So I immediately just put some butter on the top of my cornbread. That's so that my top will stay soft. Okay? So I'm going to sit this on the back of my stove. Hopefully. Yeah. And I'm going to wait on the rest of the food. And when it gets done, I'll bring you back. Now, this is the liquid over here that I took from the pot of beans. So if I need it, I'm going to go ahead and put it over in these beans. If I don't need it, I might, because it has a lot of seasoning in it. If I need it for this pot, I'll just go ahead and put it over in there. Okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back and everything is almost done. You see my cornbread is in the background. I've already cut my beans off. Okay? And they're looking really, really good. And now I'm going to finish up with these turkey necks because they take a little bit longer. So at this point, and you don't have to do this, okay, I'm adding my all-time favorite seasoning in the world. That's my Lipton onion soup mix. One other thing I want to tell you about these beans, I didn't put any salt in it. Once you cut your pot off, then you add your salt. And if, as you can see, let me show you this one more time, my beans stayed whole. See them? They're whole. Totally. Because you don't want mushed up beans. But now you add your salt. The reason why I didn't need to add salt is because I had those ham pieces. And I told you in the beginning that the ham pieces add all of the flavor that you would need. So now I'm going to put in my potatoes. And some people may say, oh, she's doing that with a shoebox. Yeah, shoebox. The plastic shoe boxes is for more than just shoes. I use them when I'm doing my cooking. So if you go out and get some from the Dollar Tree, don't only use them for just shoes. You can use them also in your kitchen as storage containers. Okay, now I want to show you something about this turkey. So I'm going to take out one. Okay, it's at this point, see how your turkey will peel away? See that? So you know that that turkey is tender. It's almost done because you want this to the point whereas it will fall off the bone. Just a little bit before falling off the bone. So now since I have to cook the potatoes in here for the last 30 minutes, then I can just go ahead and allow that to cook a little bit more. Now, I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to take 2 heaping tablespoons of this cornstarch and add to this water. That's heaping. It's not hot water, it's room temperature water. And I'm going to leave this sitting on the side, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with this once we come back. And if you're not familiar with cornstarch, that's the container of cornstarch. I think it's roughly about $2.50 in the store. Now, you can do the same thing with flour. What I'm doing. The only thing about flour is flour will give you a little bit more of a starchy type taste. So you would have to allow the flour to boil a little bit longer if you're going to add it to this pot. With the cornstarch, it's bland. So it takes on whatever taste you put it, wherever you put it, whatever food you put it in, that's the taste that the cornstarch would take on. So in other words, if I was making peach cobbler and I needed a thickener, this would take on the taste of the peach cobbler. Since I'm doing this with the turkey and the potatoes, this is going to take on the taste of the turkey and the potatoes. Now, it only takes 3 minutes for this to thicken up in your pot. As long as your water is hot, which my water is hot in my pot, and as long as you have already pre-dissolved this in some water, it takes 3 minutes. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about when I come back. So I'm going to sit this on the side for 30 minutes, and then the last 3 minutes of cooking, I'm going to bring you back and show you what I'm going to do with this cornstarch. So allow this to cook for 30 more minutes, and I'll be right back. And at that time, it'll be time almost for us to dish up a plate. Okay, right now I'm back, and I have this on a low simmer because it's done already. But what I want to do, I'm going to show you something. Okay, this is done. okay? But I want you to look at my spoon. Okay, you see how those juices do not cover my spoon? They're very thin and watery like. That's why I want to add the, hold up, I think I got my stove on back here. I didn't know I had it. Okay, that's why I want to add the thickening agent to it. Okay, so I'm going to add this. Now it only takes about 3 minutes. That's it. That's all it's going to take for this to gravy up or become a little bit thicker than what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you back in 3 minutes and I'm going to show you what it was. Now you don't have to do that part of it. All you can do, you can serve now. You really don't have to. You really didn't even need to use the cornstarch, or you don't need to use flour or whatever it is that you would normally use, you know, in your pot as a thickening agent. But I wanted it to be just a little bit thicker. See how it's getting thicker now? That's what I wanted. And you don't want to have, now it's more like it has like a soup type look to it. See how it's thickening up? And the warmer it gets, the more it's going to thicken. Now that's a much thicker gravy, and it really takes about 3 minutes. Like I said, you can do this with flour or you can do it with cornstarch. It really does make a difference which one. Or you could have just stopped the process right where I did when I was showing you the spoon, and just go ahead and eat it. But I wanted just a little bit of gravy to this because for some reason, to me, it makes the turkey necks just taste really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this about 3 minutes. I'll bring you back and dish up a plate. Be right back. Now we're back and my dinner is done. So let me just go ahead and dish up a plate. Back in this pot, I got the Lima Beans. So I'm going to put some of them on the plate. I didn't think I was going to get a piece of bacon, but I did. These are some good beans, too. Put a piece of the meat. There's some. Down on the plate. There you go, a little bit more. And now I'm going to add to that over here I have the turkey necks, but see how gravy it is? See? And that is so full of that rich gravy that I was looking for to go on this plate. So I'll put a couple of those on the plate. And I'm going to put, it's hot. Ooh, very hot. Put some of those potatoes down there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that gravy over that. And of course, I'm going to add a piece of this cornbread. And look at it. I can stand it up or lay it down. I'm going to clean this plate up. Only thing you need now is some peach cobbler or some apple dumpling. And I have both of those recipes online. And this is normally not the way that I cook for a weekday meal, but I really had a taste for it. So I went ahead and I cooked it up. So there you have it. You have turkey necks and potatoes with lima beans and ham pieces. You know the ham pieces was left over from Thanksgiving, and cornbread. Now, that's not a Southern meal. I don't know what is. And as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye.